Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite accessories for the Sony a7 III, the Meike battery grip. So let's do this. What's up, YouTube? I just want to start off by saying I am pumped. Today is the first video of 2020, the new year, the new decade. I hope everyone had a good New Year's Eve and fun celebration with your friends and family. My wife and I went out with some friends of ours, and I'm not gonna lie, I questioned my decision at least 5 or 6 times in that evening of why I'm out. It was insane, kind of. It probably could have been worse. Big crowds of people just stressed me out, and so several times I was just like, can I go home and play video games? Maybe, please? So unlike me, I hope you guys didn't have like a complete breakdown over crowds of people and had a great time. So with that being said, this is the first video of 2020, and today we are talking about the Meike battery grip. Now, I'll be honest with you, I have debated making this video for weeks, maybe even months, and I've held off because it's not the flashiest of items. It's not a lens review, it's not a like lighting review or things like that. It's a battery grip. It's very functional. But the reason why I felt like it was beneficial to bring to you all is because I think this has the potential of saving you hundreds of dollars. Now, I'm gonna start off by saying this is gonna be a little bit weird because I have some B-roll of what this looks like mounted on the a7 III, but I'm currently shooting the video on the a7 III. And so the battery grip, when I show these examples, is not gonna be attached. To start off, if you're unfamiliar with battery grips, what they do is basically like a twofold purpose. One, they house extra batteries, and so this one can hold 2 batteries. But the other purpose for them is generally they're mounted at the bottom of the camera so you can turn your camera for portrait orientation and also have a grip on the camera there as well. That's what battery grips are used for. A little bit extra battery life as well as an extra grip on the camera. So now that we're all caught up, I wanna talk about why the Meike battery grip is a great option if you're looking at a battery grip for the a7 III but are budget conscious. So as always, let's get into some of the pros and cons about this battery grip, who I'd recommend it for, and let's just talk about it. Let's spend some time together. I say it jokingly, but literally we're hanging out. These are my parties, and I'm a host to this party, and I really hope you guys have a great time at these parties. If they're lame, let me know. Like, do I need to have like a extra, I don't know. So to start this party off, let's talk about the pros. All right, if you guys have watched any of my reviews, you know for the most part, I start the pros off with price. And this is no different. One of the best things about this battery grip is the price. I just looked on Amazon, so at time of shooting, this is $70 on Amazon. Whereas the counterpart, the Sony counterpart to this battery grip, the official Sony battery grip, is $350. Like, I really hope this thing just like shoots out gold whenever you hit the shutter release. It's just like clink gold, clink gold, clink gold. I really hope that, because $350 for a battery grip when you can get something like this for $70, like that blows my mind. And I'm sure there's maybe some like build quality differences or things like that, but $350 as opposed to $70, price is one of the biggest benefits of picking this one up. The next pro is the reason why I would recommend this for photographers and videographers, and that is the fact that it introduces size and sturdiness. When you're using these small mirrorless cameras, when you're holding them, there's not a ton of bulk to them. And so introducing something like this battery grip, even if you don't hold it with the actual grip like it is right here, where you hold it like its normal grip, it just adds some additional bulk to the camera. When I'm walking around taking photos, taking video, I like putting this on the camera, especially if I'm not planning on using it on like a gimbal or something like that, just from the fact that it adds real estate to the camera. It feels very comfortable to hold in my hand. And on top of that, if you're taking portraits, being able to flip the camera, have a shutter release up here at the top, not be weirdly contorted, you know, holding your camera like this, taking your portraits, is really kind of a nice benefit, very convenient for portrait photographers. So if you are a portrait photographer, get yourself a battery grip. It makes holding your camera for portraits way easier, way more convenient. And the reason why I mentioned this for videographers, a few videos ago, I mentioned how to get smooth or more stable handheld video. And one of those tips was to add bulk to your camera. This is a way to add bulk to your camera. When I did my review of the Canon 50mm f1.8, all of those shots that I took were handheld. I didn't have a top handle, I didn't have a side handle, I didn't have a gimbal or anything like that. I simply just had this, and it added that extra bulk to the camera, which allowed me to get a little bit more stable shots because there wasn't as much micro jitter because the A7 III is a little bit smaller. So videographers, if you're looking for a good way to add bulk to your camera, this is definitely one thing to consider, which actually leads me into my next pro, which is just the crazy amount of battery life that you get out of your A7 III when you use this battery grip with both batteries in it. For those of you that are shopping for an A7 III or don't currently own a camera that has the Sony Z batteries, these are really long lasting batteries. I think I mentioned in my last video, I did an entire shoot with 1%. Now it was like a 20-minute shoot, but I did an entire 20-minute shoot on 1% battery and made it through. These are really long lasting batteries. So putting 2 of them onto the camera, like you can do pretty much an entire day's shoot with this battery grip with both the Z batteries in there attached to your camera. So that's another pro for me, is the fact that you get a crazy amount of battery life by introducing 2 Z batteries attached to your camera. It's a battery grip, it's kind of in the name, but just in case you're wondering, yes, you get a crazy amount of battery life. So the next pro is going to be the button layout and the buttons that are available on this battery grip. This is something that I heavily inspected the Sony version versus this version, because I was like, maybe there's a button that the Sony version has, this one doesn't, and I could not find one. This has all the buttons you need without having to move your hand around the camera. Now, obviously, that's going to happen regardless. Like if you need, like, I think it's what C4 is over on the left side, then you're going to be moving your hand a little bit. But if you need those immediate buttons that are available on the right hand side of the camera, this is going to have them. Researching the button layout, I was like, it can't have like the front and back wheel. It's got to be missing one of them. No, it has both. It has the front wheel and the back wheel. You have your shutter release, you have your front and back wheel, you have even the joystick, the little car. You have that too. You have everything you need as far as button layout with this battery grip. So that's definitely something that's a pro as well. The fact that you have this battery grip at this price with all the button layout that the Sony version has, if you haven't figured out by now, link below, go buy this battery grip. See you later. No, I mean, I want you to finish the video. So the button layout is definitely there, and that is a huge pro for me. Like I said, I could have sworn that with the cut in cost, you probably are losing some buttons, and you're not. And so it's really a great pro for me. So the next pro is kind of like a weird pro, because it's like one of those things that if you've ever used a battery grip, you're like, no duh, this has it. But it broke my brain a little bit, so I'm gonna share it with you. I'm gonna put it in the pro section. But this battery grip does have a place for your battery door. And the reason why this is a pro for me is, one, because when I was shopping for battery grips, even with my A6300, I was like, well, what am I gonna do with my battery door? This does have a place to put your battery door. The second reason I wanna mention it is because it leads to a funny story, a little bit. More so like an embarrassing funny story. When I first got the camera, this was on the camera. And so I was like, well, I don't really want this on the camera at all times. So I'm gonna take it off, but then I was just like, well, where's my battery door? Oh crap, I don't have a battery door. Well, all right. So immediately the same night, I went on eBay and found some used battery doors for the A7 III and bought one. I was just like, you know, it's 50 bucks, but I got a really good deal on the A7 III, so we'll count it as a loss, whatever. But an hour or two after I bought the battery door on eBay, I saw a review of this battery grip, and they mentioned the battery door kind of insert. And I was just like, oh, that's cool. Oh no. And I immediately went to my office and looked at this battery grip, and I said, yep, that's the battery door. And I like frantically tried to cancel the battery door on eBay, and luckily the people were really nice about it and they canceled it, no problem. The reason why I wanted to put this in this video is to kind of pay it forward, because someone told me that there was a battery door on the battery grip. I want to also tell someone else, hopefully that's watching this video, if you're in the same predicament that I am, where you bought your camera with a battery grip and you feel like you need to pay an extra 50 bucks for a battery door, you don't. It's probably in the battery door insert. So a little bit of embarrassing, but also funny story, but a huge pro. Nice little convenient pro. for somewhere to put your battery door. So those are some pros. You have the price, you have the size and sturdiness, you have the extra long battery life, you have the button layout is all there. It's not skimping out on the button layout. And you also have a very convenient place to put your battery door. So that being said, what are some cons? And I do have some cons about this. So the first con for me is more nitpicking, and it's the fact that the shutter release button is silver. And I don't know why that is. And I don't remember if I saw that on the Sony version or not. And there may be a reason for it. And you know, like egg on my face if there's like a really logical reason of why that is. But to me, that's just, I don't really like that aesthetic. It's not like a deal breaker or anything like that, but it's a little bit more like, I really wish it wasn't that way, having that silver button there. So that's kind of a con for me. The other con is the fact that like sometimes it's a little harder to get this thing on the camera. And again, this may not be like just this battery grip individually. It could be all battery grips where it's this way. Sometimes it doesn't mount correctly because maybe I don't have it pressed down enough or something like that. So it may like mount really weirdly. That's again, more of a nitpicking thing. There's really not a ton of cons. There was once where I got an error that the camera couldn't recognize any batteries available. It really only happened once, and it may have been because it was like super cold or something like that. It hasn't happened since then, and it hadn't happened before then. So I'm not gonna really include it in a con because I feel like it was just like something environmental that caused that. But that being said, you have the shutter release button, you have sometimes the mounting can be weird. And if you wanna count that like one error where it wasn't able to recognize the battery, I've used this for like 6 months and it has literally happened once. And so if you want to count that, you can, but otherwise, those are some pros and cons. Again, I couldn't find a ton of cons around this. It is really a great value, great budget battery grip, a great accessory for the A7 III. Potentially one of my favorite accessories for the A7 III is this Meike battery grip. So portrait photographers, photographers in general, videographers, if you're a hybrid shooter and you just want to create bulk to your A7 III, I definitely recommend this. It is, again, a great value. And that's what I'm all about here, right? I mean, that's why I'm kicking off the year with this review, because it is such a good value. You know, there's plenty of other things. Could have done a lens review. I have a couple lenses I can review, but I was like, you know what? It's time. People need to know. They need to know. So that being said, I hope this has been helpful. I hope this gives you a little bit of insight on the fact that you can get a battery grip for $70 and it's a really great quality battery grip. Question of the day, what is your favorite accessory for the A7 III? Or we'll include any camera in this discussion. What's your favorite camera accessory that you use on an ongoing basis? Let me know in the comments below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like. If you're digging the content coming from the channel, consider subscribing. Go find your journey. Go embrace life. Make 2020 yours. I'll see you here next time. Peace. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Why am I singing Christmas carols after New Year's? Nah. Heck with it. My Christmas tree's still up. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. I don't remember the rest of the words. Let your days be merry and bright. That was on purpose. And bright. And may all your Christmases be my... I'm very sorry to anyone that is in love with Christmas carols and music in general, and I just butchered that. I'm done.